I belong to you.
I belong to you.
Do just what you want. You're the one I trust.
Puts it into an area. Keo, Zamora!
And I'll always be around when you need some loving, baby. No one else.
Put you down. All my melodies,
Hey guys, I'm Si and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of the Andy Campbell Championship Show. This is episode number 140 and the show is available live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. Ace Podcast Nation, of course, your home to many other great shows and series featuring top guests, expert analysts and more. So please give us a follow on social media, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the bell for notifications. If you prefer your podcasts in audio form, then you can search Ace Podcast Nation at all your favourite podcast platforms or radio platforms. Over 400 shows on all sorts of subjects. And if you want to keep it purely football, follow at AC Footy Show on all social media platforms. But just as we wait for a couple of the stragglers and the latecomers on those various platforms, a big thank you as ever to Black Diamond Sports, and they're a global sports agency representing sports stars from around the world. For more information, you can visit their social media pages and their website, the links to which are in the description below, as well as the closing credits. And of course, a big thank you to them for all their support around not just the show but the channel as a whole. And today's sponsor, Darren Ralston and Bespoke Financial, and we again thank them for all their support sponsoring the show. Darren is giving away a free will at the moment worth £140 with any new policy which is taken out. Just tell him that we sent you, and just check him out, give him a call. Don't miss out on it's an incredible offer. £140 goes a long way these days, and I think coming out the back of a pandemic, hopefully, that Bespoke Financial and Darren in particular could hopefully find you some services which will help you out and look after you in the future, like he's looked after Mr. Andy Campbell with various policies over the year. So we are very proud, should I say, to partner with such a brand, and we applaud them for their award-winning service. Thank them for sponsoring the show. But with no further ado, for the first time in 10 days, I introduce to you the goal collector, the fox in the box, and still the king of the Millennium Stadium. He is the QPR dream killer, and of course he is Davy Jones' favourite son. Ex-Cardiff and Middlesbrough striker, Mr. Andy Campbell. Welcome, my friend. I have missed you.
Good evening, mate. Yeah, it's nice to have you back. Monday was very different, just very different. It didn't have the same. It was very weird. Thanks to everybody, by the way, helped me out. Thanks to everybody who got the questions. Apologies that I didn't cover everyone's questions, but it was just an impossibility. And those people who think it's easy doing this kind of thing, give it a shake. Just the preparation and things, it was hard, really hard. But I enjoyed it though, because Clark was an amazing human being. And,
he was awesome, man.
And do you know what? I'm so, we're on about mental health in people. So nice to see somebody who struggles so badly look so well. Long may it continue.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. It's what we need, is a bit of positivity, and Yeah, it was weird, mate, watching it. I watched the majority of it. I dipped in and out of it. I apologise if I'm fidgeting a bit because I am still in a bit of pain and stuff, but I'm going along. My wife says you look fabulous. I know she says you look fabulous, which is always,
Me?
you know, yes, yeah. It's charming, isn't it? But there we go. So we're going to make it short and sharp today. It's going to be a nice, quick hour in and out. We have got the playoffs to talk about. Before we do that, we're going to have a little chat about some different stuff. And we'll start off kind of away from the championship, mate. So tell me why. And I got 2 belters this week for you. 2 absolute humdingers. So if any new viewers or listeners don't know what Tell Me Why is, Tell Me Why is where Andy and the guest, if we have a guest, have 60 seconds to answer a question or discuss a subject of my choosing. So the first subject or question is: Wolves manager Nuno Santo is leaving at the end of the season. I want to know, is it the right time for both sides of the party? And also, where would be a good fit for his next move? And also if he's done a good job. But your time starts now, my friend.
I'll start with, has he done a good job? Yes, he's done a fabulous job. When he took over the football club, and where he's leaving the football club is in an amazing place. He hasn't got the best reputation with football fans. He hasn't got the best reputation with the fallouts he's had with certain people. But I think he's done a good job. I think the way his style of football, the players that he's turned into very good footballers. You look at the Diego Jotas, you look at the Navas, you look at the Traores of this world, the Jimenez. You know what I mean? Look at the kind of players that he's made into better. He's made players into better footballers and pushed them onto another level. So for me, the next club, I can see him taking over a very good club, a club who's in Europe season after season. And I just really hope he excels and goes on to another level, because for me, he's like a Pochettino, that he was at a club, but sometimes managers stay at the club too long. But I think he's moving at the right time for me now.
Yeah, and about 8 seconds left to let you off that, mate.
Good
so,
tough question,
just to clarify, my wife didn't say you look fabulous. She said you did fabulous on Monday. So I apologise to both of you for that. You look like crap. With Santo, the one thing I said, you're interesting. You mentioned Pochettino, and I can't remember if we got around to it the other week or if I did ask you. I was going to make a point though. He's gone to Paris, and arguably has maybe done a bit of damage to his reputation, some would say. Like, he hasn't perhaps done as well as people thought he would do in Paris. And I guess when you're comfortable in a place where everybody loves you, the club loves you, the fans love you, where Pochettino's in Spurs, where Santos has been, in Wolves, he's very popular there. He's done a tremendous job there. He's established them not only as a Premier League club, but not a bottom half Premier League club. They're a top 10 side, really. When you look at it over the last couple of years, they're established European, Europa League now and again. He's done a tremendous job. I'd be very interested to see where he goes next. I'll put this to you. Do you think there's a chance he's going to Spurs?
Possibly. Listen, it's about progression. You know what I mean? He's a bigger club. There's an opening there. He's a little bit out of his depth at the minute, so there's an opportunity there. But listen, you're on about managers now. Normally, managers don't lose their jobs or walk away from jobs unless they've got something to walk into, or a better job to walk into. He's a very good coach. He's obviously proven that with the players that he's got. He needs to jump on board on a different club straight away before he gets forgotten about a little bit, because he can't afford to be out of a job for too long.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting where he chooses to go. Is the Spurs job too big for him? I don't know. Like, it's a big job, not just in terms of the size of Tottenham as a football club necessarily, but the amount of work that needs doing off the pitch as well as on the pitch. Like, they're probably going to lose Harry Kane. They're probably going to lose a couple of other players. Like, they're going to have big holes in that squad, aren't they? So it's going to be interesting. But I think in some ways it's the next logical move to go from Wolves to Spurs. Yeah. So,
but then you look at Wolves. You look at Wolves where they were when he took over. They were the Championship side. He brought in the players in the holes that he needed to fill, and that's what I look at Spurs. I think they need to fill those holes, and they need to be filled with the person who knows how to fill them. And he's showed in his past, especially at Wolves, that he can fill them with the right people.
Absolutely, mate. Donna says Newcastle job maybe. She doesn't see Steve Bruce lasting. That could be a shout. But again, would you leave Wolves to go? No disrespect to Newcastle, But would you leave Wolves to go to Newcastle? I don't know if that's...
Not with the current owner. No.
No.
If they had a takeover, possibly, because that club could go to another level with the right people.
Of course could.
Putting money in. Yeah.
And then question 2, mate, for Tell Me Why, as is tradition almost, but European finals coming up, 2 big finals for the British contingent. I'd like you to give me a little preview of how you see the Champions League and the Europa League final going. And your time starts now.
I'll start with the Europa League. Obviously, Man United against Villarreal. I still think United will have too much for them. Obviously, Harry Maguire is going to be a big miss if he does miss. I think he's touch and go. He's going to be. I think he's less than 50% opportunity and chance to play. But United have enough going forward to win that. There's going to be goals galore in that game. I can just see it. So I think United will win quite comfortably. The Champions League final. After watching the FA Cup final and watching certain things and the way that Chelsea are fighting for. Now I can't see Man City losing it. You know what I mean? They can rest players, they can move forward, they can do what they need to do this week in order to prepare for the final. So for me, Man City will win. So it'd be a Manchester double.
Yeah, I think Man City will have too much. Chelsea, although they made a good comeback versus Leicester in the league game, because I did wonder whether they might lose the league game following the cup final loss and go to pieces a little bit. But look, Chelsea have been Man City's bogey team a little bit this year, so that is something which maybe could have an impact. As you know, with bogey teams, it just seems to happen some seasons. United, I think they should, shouldn't they? You know, the way Cavani's playing just on his own recently, and Fernandes and that, like they should. They're not going to. United won't not score, so it'll come down to if they can keep the, how many Villarreal score down to a minimum. But then Eric Bailly, I think he's underrated, mate, isn't he? People think he's rubbish.
Listen, I agree. I think it's a must-win for Ollie. I think Ollie's under pressure. Bring a title to Manchester. Second place is good. He's had a good season, but he's got to bring a title. He has to bring something.
Here's a question, mate. If United lose, because obviously he was under pressure in the semi-final because they'd lost so many semi-finals. If, say, Villarreal win 3-0, 3-1 comfortably, and United are poor, do you think there's any chance Solskjaer could go in the summer with the talk of them spending big money? I don't think they will, by the way, but there's talk of them spending big money to appease the fans. Do you think there's any chance they bring in someone else to spend that money or to use those players?
Definitely.
If he doesn't win the final? Because I don't think he's the Glazers' first choice. I don't think he's like that. And even Ed Woodward, I know he's going, but like he's not that big star name. He's the legend that they brought in to appease the fans. He's just happened to do all right.
Oh, listen, for me, definitely. You know what I mean? I look at the way Spanish football is, and I look at Zinedine Zidane, for example. You know what I mean? For me, United should have one of the world's best managers at the helm if they're not winning things. You know what I mean? If they're winning things, why should a manager lose his job if he's winning things? He's winning silverware. He's putting teams in the Champions League. But Ollie's had a great season. But define great. It's only great if you win something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because finals mean nothing unless you win them. You know what I mean? Look at Chelsea. Will Chelsea have had a good season if they don't win the Champions League, but they qualify for the Champions League? Will that be a good season for Roman Abramovich? I don't think so. I don't think it will
it's
be.
Been poor.
It can't be a good season. It can't be a good season for Chelsea if they've already sacked the manager this year.
Yeah.
It can't be.
And so, also, mate,
so the season wasn't going very well.
They're not guaranteed Champions League football by any stretch, are they? Chelsea either, by the way. If they don't win that Champions League final, there's a good chance they won't finish top 4.
So I mean, it's going to be difficult for them, and that could be that would be a travesty for the football club that you lose the FA Cup final, you don't make the Champions League, and you lose the Champions League final. It could be within 2 weeks, a 2-week period. That would be a nightmare for everyone concerned. The players, the staff, the new manager, and the owner will not be happy.
Yeah, like Leslie says there, don't underestimate Chelsea. They've beaten Man City. And like I said, they have been a bit of a bogey side for them. And I think Chelsea will enjoy the fact that they are such strong underdogs. Like, nobody is really giving them a chance in the media and stuff. And that's because Man City is so good. But, I would say the same with Chelsea and Villarreal. They will both enjoy being written off. Villarreal have got some great players, mate.
Yeah,
So
I get that, but I don't get Leslie's point of how bitter he is about Man City as well. Though.
Yeah, I know, he's got a thing, hasn't
he wants Man City to get beat. The beaten Borussia Dortmund. He wanted them to lose. He wanted them to lose.
I think he
against
just
Paris
wants John
Saint-Germain.
Stones to fail, mate, doesn't he?
If they win the Champions League, is he going to come on this show and say he was wrong live on the show? My doubt. My guess is no. So let's leave it there.
Yeah, well, that's it. So, moving on, mate. Championship. We had the playoff first legs. Before we touch on that, a couple of little championship bits of news, because obviously we're not going to go club by club because there was no games. But you've got Danny Collins to Cardiff City, mate. What do you make of that?
I was excited when I read about it, and really thinking about it, and then thinking about it even more. And then I got a message of somebody, and then I thought about it too much, and I've convinced myself that he's a potential replacement for Kiefer Moore.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping because
James Collins, sorry, not Danny Collins.
Yeah, James Collins, and that's my worry because I think the two similar. And can they both play together the way that Mick McCarthy wants Cardiff City to play, and the way that he wants it to play right now? I'd say no. Unless Mick goes out and buys two wingers, I'll say it's impossible because those two players need service, they need supply, and they need crosses in the box. So at the minute, Cardiff City can't play both of them at the same time.
Yeah, and I also think, no disrespect to James Collins, I hope he does amazing. And by the way, I was critical of Kiefer Moore as the signing for Cardiff. I didn't think he was what they needed, etc., etc. I was proven wrong. I've said that. However, I am more confident in saying that James Collins is nowhere near the standard of Kiefer Moore. He might be able to score goals, and he's got certain attributes which are very good, but he's nowhere near the all-round game that Kiefer Moore has proven over this season.
Si, we've given him so many plaudits on the show over the last couple of seasons that he scored in League Two, he scored in League One. League One, done really well in the Championship, done again it in the Championship. So he's proved it that he can do it, which is great, and he's got his move and his opportunity to really show people how good he is. But he's got to be played with the right people in the right formation. And a partner. And listen, I hope they both can play together. But like I've just said there, for me, they need wingers for those two to play together. If they do get wingers, they could score goals for fun, by the way, which will be amazing. And you've got Harris, who signed a new contract as backup.
Yes,
so
that's good news.
Could be win-win.
Well, here's a couple of points I want to put to you, mate. First and foremost, one of my concerns when Mick McCarthy came in, you might remember, was that if they gave him a contract, which they did, was the type of players that he would sign. And I've got to worry that he's almost looking at the Island squad circa 2018 to present day, kind of picking off those players who he's had at him. And there's nothing wrong with having players you trust and players who you believe in and you've worked with before. But I just worry. I got that little nagging worry. But Reece makes a great point, and it's the same point I was going to make. If Kiefer Moore is staying, which I hope he is, you've just signed a 30-year-old to sit on the bench. What happens if the target man isn't working? It's like a like-for-like thing. I was looking for them, if they were going to sign a striker to push Kiefer Moore for a place, I was hoping it was going to be, more like, I'm not saying Adam Armstrong as the player, but like that style of striker, quick, can play maybe out wide if necessary.
Running behind.
Yeah. It's difficult now.
A perfect foil, but listen, Mick's got his plan. He's got the way that he wants to play, and if that means getting two wingers and maybe he's getting a lone player, because I look at now, Harry Wilson. Where does Harry Wilson fit in with those two? Because with two playing up front, you can't play with a 10. So you can't play with next year. You can't play a 10. So that means Harry would have to play wide, and Harry's not a winger. We've seen that at the start of the season. So listen, I hope it works out, but you put yourself under pressure with the wrong signings in the wrong. I don't think Cardiff didn't need a centre forward, by the way, but I don't think they needed that type of centre forward.
Yes,
so I think I'm just hoping that that it works out for everybody, because obviously we know how much Cardiff needs to resolve.
The other aspect is you've got Harris, and Craig says you've got Waters, but then also you've got there's no way Harry Wilson will play for Cardiff next year. I don't think. also then you've got Johnny Williams, mate. If they could keep him fit for like 30 games the next season, quality player on his day. Absolutely. And you get him fit and same as Tomlin. Between the two of them, they can play that number 10 role as good as any Championship number 10. But it's keeping them fit. I just want to quickly, mate, just reply to this. Gavin says Mick McCarthy is going to get Cardiff top 4 next year. I will say this now, live. There is absolutely no way that Cardiff City will finish in the top 4 next year. With the current squad setup, etc. If they go and sign 3 or 4 players, then who are going to give us a bit of speed and dynamism, then maybe I'll change my mind. And maybe in the coming weeks there might be someone that we can put some questions to. Sheffield Wednesday, mate, 10 players released. Unbelievable amount of players, that, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, it seems to be the average. You know what I mean? Coventry released loads, Birmingham released loads. They were going to release more in terms of first team players because of the situation they're in, because they waste money on wages when they're going down to League One. So it's a really difficult one. You know what I mean? Even if whatever happens with Derby happens and the appeal doesn't really matter for Sheffield Wednesday, because it's Wycombe Wanderers or Derby now, which might be things evolve and things turn around. But in terms of players getting released, it's a nightmare for players this time of the year. You know what I mean? But it's only going to be even worse because clubs haven't got the money that they used to have, and teams are running on smaller squads. And you've got all you've got these pots of players now who are all fighting for the same better contract here, there, and everywhere. And it's going to be a merry-go-round.
I'll put this to you. Cardiff City should do their best to sign Adam Reach and Kadeem Harris and Farley Bannon, mate, to be honest. But particularly Adam Reach, mate. No, but Adam Reach and Kadeem Harris, among others, have all been released. Jordan Rhodes. I'd rather Jordan Rhodes to bloody James Collins, to be honest. But there we go. Yeah. He's got a better all-round game. Some very good players out of contract. It's up to. It's up to the recruitments, the coaches, the managers, the chairmen, the owners, CEOs to go through the lists of players and see what's best fits their football club. But you've got to do your business early because someone else will take it. If not, let me tell you something, mate. There won't be clubs. There'll be a lot of Championship clubs looking at Adam Reach because he is free. John Sheridan. I don't know if Rob Boyd is having a laugh, but he says Sky Sports have said John Sheridan's been approached for the Palace job. I tell you what, mate. If he was to get a Palace job, he has officially got the greatest agent ever. Adam Reach, mate, is a baller. He's a proper player. Championship level. Adam Reach, mate. Oof.
If John gets any job, he's got the best agent ever. So
yeah, he's incredible, mate. It's incredible. Adam Reach, mate. I'm a big fan. I think he's as a Championship attacking midfielder, he's about as good as as they get. Like if you get him fit and stuff. So
listen, I was very lucky to watch Adam as a young player when he came through the Wednesday, and he was exciting. He was on par with the Adam Johnsons of this world at the time. You know what I mean? Football wise, he was very good.
And then lastly, I just wanted to quickly mention Saul Bamba announced these cancer free, which was obviously some really good positive news. Obviously, we didn't do a show last Friday, so I just wanted to make mention of that.
Oh, amazing. Listen, there hasn't been much good news around the world recently, but that was the best news. To see his smiley face and smiley for a reason, you know what I mean? Because he's a very positive person. It's just nice to get the results that he's looking for, so he can then do what he wants with his life. If he decides to play next year, great. If he doesn't, then he's doing it for the reasons that he chooses, not the other way around. Yeah,
and I got to say, there's one thing that I'm watching with very close eyes is what Cardiff City do about Joe Bennett and Saul Bamba, both out of contract. I am interested what they do because obviously Saul Bamba's just coming back from a long layoff through his cancer treatment. Joe Bennett's got a serious injury. How they go about that is going to be interesting because I believe Joe Bennett turned down a contract just before his injury, which obviously makes it a bit more complex. As far as I'm aware, you probably know more than me, but as far as I'm aware, they are still negotiating. But it's It's a tricky one, it is, isn't it? Because in my opinion, they should definitely keep Joe Bennett and keep Saul as at least a coach, if not a player coach.
Yeah, listen, Joe's been an immense footballer for Cardiff City, and I think the contract might not be as good as he probably wanted, and it would have been if he'd signed it before. But I think he can't be picking and choosing nowadays with what's happening with Saul. I'd have him at my football club, the way that he leads on and off the field. I'd give him some kind of role which suited him. If he wanted to play, great. If he wanted to nurture and help out with coaching at the younger age or 23s or whatever that may be, but play as well, I'd be happy with anything.
My thing with Joe Bennett is Cardiff have got a couple of really good young fullbacks. If Joe Bennett goes, they haven't got like a really experienced sort of, Joe Bennett's played a lot of championship games, but apparently he's turned down his contract and his house is up for sale, which makes me think, I know he's on a lot of money. He's on because he signed his contract when they were in the Premier League. So, there's a lot of aspects to it. I'd like to think that while he's injured, Cardiff would look after him, whether it's making sure if, he's got a club or he's got a contract offer in front of him. But obviously it'll be up to him. I don't think he'll be short of offers. But I think from a footballing point of view, I believe Cardiff should keep him if they can agree a contract, because I think he'd be good for the likes of NG and Sang and alike. Right. Loads of good comments. Yes, Gavin, I will mention Liverpool won a game of football. Congratulations. You might even make top 4. Great goal by Alisson, by the way. What a header. Reminiscent of Simon Willis in his heyday. That was.
What a header.
Beautiful. But Liverpool might make top 4. Good season from. Right. Playoffs, mate. First legs are in the books. 2 1-0 games. Let's go with Barnsley versus Swansea first. Did Barnsley disappoint, or did Swansea play an intelligent game?
I think they've disappointed a little bit. They still created chances. They still had enough in the game to get a result from the game. It's difficult against Swansea side for me because Swansea dominate possession that much that it disrupts the way that Barnsley want to play going for the ball. If you don't have the ball, how can you attack? That was what they struggled with, and Barnsley normally have a lot of the ball. Especially in wide positions, and they just struggled going forward. Didn't create as much as they normally do, but they still created enough to get a goal from me. I use all goals all season. He's had a terrific season. But yeah, listen, the second leg's all to play for still. Barnsley have still got goals in them. If Barnsley don't score over 2 legs, I'll be very surprised. But then you look at it, if they don't score over 2 legs, then they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. You know what I mean? You've got to look at it quite in the season. But then the old Andy side, we spoke about it. Is resting players, has it been a good thing for certain clubs? Because I look at Barnsley, they've rested players, they've lost again. They lost a couple of games towards the end of the season. And has that
lost their momentum.
Continuity? Yeah, is that causing problems and coming back to bite them on the backside? Whereas Swansea played the majority of their side, apart from a couple of younger centre forwards in their last couple of games, to give AU and a couple of other players a rest, and it doesn't seem to have done any harm whatsoever. So it's an intriguing second leg, but from the position Swansea are in, if they don't win this game from where they are now, then they'll be extremely disappointed.
Yeah, I think ironically in that game, the Barnsley-Swansea game, both sides are more suited to the away legs. So obviously Swansea enjoy a great deal of possession, and I think they enjoy playing away from home a bit more. But also, I think Barnsley, the way they play on the counter-attack and quite direct, it suits them more to play away as well. So, like you say, I'd be very surprised if Barnsley was to go both games without scoring. That's going to be an interesting one, because I wouldn't be surprised if Barnsley go and win 3-0, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see Swansea tie up at a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something. So it'll be interesting. We'll give our predictions, mate. Or should we just do our predictions as we go along for them? What do you think score will be in the second leg? And people in the chat, give us your predictions.
2-1 on the night. On the day, Saturday tomorrow. So they'll win 2-1, which will be 3-1 in aggregate, I think.
I'm going to go with a Barnsley 3-1 victory. for that one tomorrow, so it'll be 3-2 on aggregate. Corey Woodrow's going to come with the goods, mate. He's done it all season for him. Why wouldn't he do it again? Okay, next up is Bournemouth versus Brentford, mate. 1-0 to Bournemouth. What do you make of this one? Brentford, surely they're not gonna miss at the final hurdle again.
Well, you speak about bogey sides, and Bournemouth's bogey side this year has been Brentford, and they turned it around on Monday night. They won 1-0 to Danjuma's goal, but still, Brentford more than one, and very disappointed that they didn't get the goal. There was a couple of really good saves by Begovic. I thought he was outstanding. I can't see I can't see Brentford not scoring at least one. You know what I mean? So for me, I think Bournemouth have to score to give themselves a chance, one if not two goals or more. They're that good going forward, and for me, I can't see Brentford not scoring at least one, maybe 2, 3, because the way they do things during a game of football. You know what I mean? The manager gets them set up right, and for me, I think Brentford will win 3-1 in the night.
Yeah, I got a feeling Brentford are going to win comfortably. I just think Brentford have got that experience of last year. I think will do them in good stead for this second leg. I think that they're going to go into it. People will have written them off a little bit because they lost in the first leg. It's going to be interesting, but I'm going to go Brentford 2-0. So that'll be 2-1 on Brentford.
If they don't go upside, will the manager
get
an opportunity somewhere else? Will the manager get an opportunity somewhere else if they don't go up Brentford? He's done a good job?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, he's done a very good job, mate. To recover from last year, I think he did an exceptional job as well. It is going to be interesting, mate. Very interesting indeed. Okay, so as we've got no games this week, I wanted to discuss. Obviously, last week you put your Team of the Year out. And you gave some awards out, so I want to discuss that a little bit, and I'll give mine in a minute. But did you just want to go through your awards first of all? So your Manager of the Year was
2 seconds. Just while I get it, you caught me out a little bit.
Oh God, I'd say then I've got it in front of me, mate. If you wanted me to just tell you, it was the Barnsley manager, wasn't it? What's his name?
Yeah, the Barnsley manager. Sorry, got the Barnsley manager. Got my Manager of the Year award. I think he's had an absolutely phenomenal. Listen, from where they were last year, where they are this year. He's done a great job, Ismail. He's done a fantastic job, and fully deserves it for me. Regardless of what happens in the playoffs, he's done a great job. My Young Player of the Year was Norwich fullback. I think he's been brilliant. I couldn't find a placement in my Team of the Year, which I was disappointed. I was trying to bring people out and sticking them in, but I just thought, well, if I give him an individual award instead, then that fills a void. And my Player of the Year, I went for Adam Armstrong, because the way that he was struggling, by the way, you know what I mean? And people were shooting me down a little bit on social media, saying, well, these players that you picked up front, because I picked from my Team of the Year, I had Pookie, Tony, and Armstrong, and people saying, well, they're in the top 4. They should be scoring goals. It's not that easy. Teams can share goals around, and for me, I looked at Armstrong. Armstrong was playing in the side who finished mid-table, so I'm sure he's got to be rewarded for that. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. So I think the Manager of the Year for me, I gave a joint one between Valerian Ismail and Neil Warnock, basically because of the way they turned their team around in 12 months. Neil Warnock, Middlesbrough nearly went down, Barnsley nearly went down, Middlesbrough missed out on the playoffs and Barnsley are in the playoffs. To me, that turnaround, to do that without bringing in 15 players and completely changing everything, I think is incredible, and I think they both deserved it. So I went with that. The Player of the Year, I went with Emi, I can't pronounce his name, Buneda at Norwich City. Absolutely outstanding all year round. One of the most consistent and best players in the league. And Young Player of the Year, I went for Michael Alesi in Reading. I thought he's had an outstanding season. I thought he's very, very good. Very quickly, I'm just going to do my Team of the Year, and I'll put them up on social media, mate, to see what you think of this. So I've gone for Daniel Bachmann in goal, Joe Jacobson. It's a 3-5-2. Joe Jacobson, Connor Roberts, Sean Morrison. And then I got Todd Cantwell, Beneda, Connor Chaplin, Julian DaCosta, Watt Moore from Middlesbrough, and then Adam Armstrong and Kiefer Moore up front. What do you think of that, mate?
Good. Excellent.
It's hard, isn't it, mate? It is, because I left out
is,
Adam Armstrong and people who I would, if you're doing a squad, they make it, don't they?
And this is where, you know what I mean, people could pick up and go, oh, hang on a minute, you've just given somebody player of the year, but he doesn't make your team of the year. You know what I mean? Yes. So it's the way you look at it. You know what I mean? I went for 3 up front because I couldn't leave any of those 3 centre forwards out the way that I've raved about them all year. I couldn't leave because I looked at the way that I've got no real defensive midfielders in my team. So I've got Dan Juma, I've got when attacking minded players, plus my 3 attackers. My team would score goals, but it would be like Kevin Keegan. I need Kevin Keegan to be my manager because my defence would be all over the shop because I wouldn't be defending. I'd just be attacking all the time, which is mad. But you know what I mean. And I put Freddie Woodman in goal, Robert Shaw Morrison, Paddy McNair. But I agree with some of yours. They could have easily got in mine, but it's such a tough thing to pick a team of the year from every club. We've raved about Coventry City all season. Not one Coventry City player got in. You know what I mean? I
got Julian DaCosta in, mate.
I was looking at George Moncur from Luton Town to be as one of my centre midfielders because he's had an excellent season. And I was gutted that he didn't make it. I was thinking, should I do 5 subs and fill my subs full of players? And I thought, I don't want to be disrespectful to those kind of lads. My point is, they're great.
They're the ones you want in there, innit? But you can't. There's just not enough players. But yeah, it's difficult, mate, and it is very difficult. Do you know what? So at the top of my screen, it gives you all the thumbs up and different things. So like on Facebook, you can give like a thumbs up, thumbs down. Someone, I'm just gonna. Robert Flynn is very angry about something that we've said. I do not know what. He's angry. So I apologise to Robert, whatever he's angry about. Something which is very, very controversial that he's not happy about. It's
probably because I didn't have Kiefer.
Yeah, possibly. But I had him in, you know. I thought, a little shout out, I'd like Michael Alesi of Reading, by the way, my young player of the year. I didn't have him in my team of the year, but because I was very strong. I wanted Beneda and Todd Cantwell in there. I wanted Connor Chaplin in there. I think he's been absolutely outstanding, Connor Chaplin. And I thought Julian DaCosta has been like I wanted. If I like you said, there was that Luton, the boy from Luton. There was who was. There was someone else as well.
There was I was same side. There was 2 players that I wanted in. I wanted Morrison from Reading, who we had on the show, but I don't want people to say that I was only picking players because we picked him. Yeah. And I also wanted Joy on my side as well. So I'm glad you did, because I knew you'd pick him. I was only picking players because I'm friends with players. You know what I mean? It's not a case of that. He's had
I picked Joe Jacobson because he was just incredible, mate. He scored a load of goals as well. He had to be in there, mate. Absolutely had to be in there. But yeah, it'd be interesting, mate. I enjoyed it though, as ever. But we'll put those up on social media and people can pick which ones they agree with and stuff like we did last year. But it's going to be interesting. A few people saying about we should do a quiz, but we got some. We're finalising our plans for the Euros. After the show on Monday, me and Andy are going to have a little chat. We're going to finalise what we're doing and who we're having on, some interesting plans, and then we'll announce them in due time. We obviously, Monday evening, mate, we've got a very interesting guest, which I think we should have a chat about. Someone who me and you know very well, but we know him in different ways, different scenarios. So it's going to be a really, really interesting show. Willie Boland, mate, ex-Premier League footballer.
Yeah, I'll listen. Yeah,
he's been talked about a lot as well, hasn't he?
Yeah,
on the shows by various guests.
Yeah, by various people. So it'll be interesting to see who Willie picks for his angriest player he's ever come across. Because he's had that a couple of times. Listen, anyone who knows Willie, he's had some really good times in his life. He's had some heartache in his life. He's been through a tough time personally at times in his life, and really, really nice human being, and really looking forward to having a good chat with him and picking up on the show. It'd be great. Someone's had a really good idea in there, which I really like, about having a sweepstake, a Euro sweepstake. So anybody wants to get involved, we could possibly do it live on the show, and everyone picks their
Just like
just a visitor, just a
pitch
little visitor.
invasion.
Just a
Come
little
on, Frankie.
visitor.
Come on, Frankie. It's professional. Come on, man. But yeah, Super League would be quite good as long as I get Wales. That's fine. I'm not having any other team. I refuse. I make the rules. So yeah, if you've got any questions, guys, get them in because we are finishing 8 o'clock bang on tonight for various reasons. One of the reasons being I'm still struggling a little bit and I don't want to overdo it. So there's no Super Kevin scripted following tonight's show. That'll be back next week. But I am working on a special live edition of My Story for Sunday, hopefully. Nothing confirmed yet. I'll confirm it tomorrow afternoon. But all I can say is that everybody in the chat will enjoy the guest if he comes on.
Interesting.
But it'll be good. It'll be good. So we'll see. James Costy, I'm all right, mate. I got like concussion symptoms, so I'm still got headaches and a bit of memory loss and stuff. But that's I had memory loss anyway, so it is what it is.
Yeah, nothing's new.
Is what it is. But yeah, really looking forward to speaking to Willie on Monday, mate. I gotta say that's going to be emotional for me. But who do we think's going to win the playoff final, or who's the playoff final going to be, and who's going to win it? Do you think? Barnsley Brentford final for me, I think.
Yeah, well, I've got my prediction can't be right because my final can't be right the way that the games have panned out. But I think Brentford for me. I can't see past Brentford.
Yeah, I think the experience of last year is going to be a difference for them.
Yeah. I think listen, they had better players this year. I think they've grown up a lot as younger players. I think they'll have learnt a lot from this year, and I think this is the last opportunity for some of them to probably get to the Premier League with Brentford. Because if they don't, I think that they could be scattered all over the place.
Absolutely, mate. I got a feeling. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I got a feeling that Barnsley might sneak. Just might sneak it. I just got a feeling they might beat Swansea and then. Just got a feeling, which probably means they're going to lose to Swansea and go belly up very quickly because I've cursed them. If I had to ask you, mate, if Middlesbrough could only sign one player realistically, soon you can't say Ronaldo or Messi for next year, who would you like them to sign? One player, realistic, from the Football League.
Realistic,
which would like overall improve them. So like my choice for Cardiff would be Barry Bannon or Adam Reach because I think they would improve them overall.
I would love Middlesbrough to sign Adam Armstrong to really push on and score goals. They need a goal scorer. They need goals. I think Middlesbrough will have to look. There's a lad for Peterborough called Clark. He scored. He's taken over. He's taken over Ivan Toney's mantle at Peterborough. There sounds like he's going to get a move to the Championship. If I was Neil Warnock, I'd go and slap in £1 million. I don't think he'll be that expensive. And if Peterborough's track record of bringing Championship players through the leagues, then I'd take a risk for sure. Yeah.
So Gavin Randall says Pookie for Cardiff. I don't see any way that Pookie would leave Premier League to come back down to Cardiff. I've got to be honest, but it would be nice. Donna says Harry Wilson to Cardiff. I'm surprised by that because whilst he showed glimpses for Cardiff City this year, did he do enough? Like, if Cardiff spent, what did we say we thought he'd go for if people wanted to sign him, 12 million or something?
Yeah.
If Cardiff spent 12 million on Harry Wilson, I don't know if I'd be disappointed. Not because I think Harry Wilson's a bad player, but because I think Cardiff City having like that 12 million would probably mean they're not going to be able to sign anyone else. So I think they should sign a couple of players rather than one player.
If Cardiff City have got £12 million to spend, I would like to see them spending £12 million on 4 players because that would
and get a couple of frees.
More or less it would guarantee you.
Then you might
certain
get top
playoff
4.
players, if not top 2, because it would be phenomenal. Because there's not many Championship clubs who can spend that kind of money. Even the Premier League clubs coming down won't spend that kind of money.
Absolutely, mate. Rob Lay says, good day from Western Australia. Hope things are getting better with the COVID crisis. A shout out to all, especially those suffering from depression. Hang in there, please. You are truly valued and loved by your family and fellow sufferers. Great show, guys. Love it. Thank you, Rob. As always, mate.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, lovely.
Appreciate you joining us from across the globe.
I hope your weather's better than ours, by the way, because I'm sat here looking at the rain.
Mate.
It's horrific. Horrific.
Guarantee
Depressing,
it is, my friend.
Used to it. So there was a couple of questions about Sunderland, because obviously Sunderland are in the playoffs tomorrow. And I don't know, because obviously we could see ourselves having Sunderland in the Championship, which would be great for the Championship, because Middlesbrough are there, and Sunderland are a big club, but they got beat by Lincoln City 2-0 in midweek. Leslie said he would put his mortgage on them turning it around, scoring 2 goals, 100%, but they always let goals in, and I don't know why. Sunderland's defence has been so leaky this season. That's where they are in the playoffs, because Sunderland shouldn't be anywhere near the playoffs. They should have walked that league with the budget, with the club, with the position that they are in stature. They should be doing a lot better than what they are. They've got a huge game tomorrow. Lincoln, no pressure. Go there, enjoy the day, see what you can do, see if you can get a day out Wembley. And then see if you play Blackpool or Oxford United, and it's 3-0 so far in the first leg to Blackpool. So it's looking like it's going to be the 2 underdogs who might play at Wembley.
Yeah, I think
be in the Championship, one of them.
Lincoln. I'm trying to think of that. I'm trying to search for the boy's name. They got this one boy in midfield who's looks really good footballer. I like the look of him a lot. But let's make no mistake. For me, mate, if Sunderland don't go up, they've failed massively. They should have won. They should have walked automatic promotion. Then when they're in the playoffs, they should have won. They should be winning that. It's disappointing for such a big club to not be there. But I could also see them turning it on and winning 3-0 or whatever, and it's there, isn't it? Rob Garrett, says Newport. Let's touch on Newport, mate, in the League 2 playoff. They beat Forest Green Rangers 2-0. Forest Green Rovers, 2-0. Very, very good performance from Newcastle. Newport. Can Forest Green come back from that?
Of course they can. It's just the way that the games are playing. But what I will say is the goal what Newport scored in the first goal from it was Matty Dolan. I think it was. I haven't seen a goal like it in the playoff semi-final. He's sweet, got an opportunity like that and a goal like that to give you a lead. And then Collins got the second goal. Great start. It gives them a little bit of a cushion. But obviously the game's a family-orientated game, isn't it? Because there's a Collins on each side for Forest Green and for Newport. So, but I do hope Newport can just get over the line, get the results and get the job done. So then get in the final to play Morecambe or Tranmere, because whoever they play in the final, I think they've got the harder game in the semi-final. So if they can get through the final, I'd like to think the Newport Football Club for the area. It'd be nice for Welsh football to get them to League One, because attendances would probably go up, and they can spend a little bit of money on the stadium and the area, and it'll be great.
I actually think that Newport have enough quality that if they do go up and they add a couple of decent sort of League One Championship players, I think they could go up again. Like, I do think as a football team, they're pretty good. They play some decent stuff. They got decent squad. They would need some additional quality, of course, because they're going up a league. But you look at that League 2 table, mate, and you look at some of those clubs that are in there. For a club of Newport County size to go and do what they've done this year, I think is really good. Like, because you've got some big clubs in there: Bolton Wanderers, Cambridge United, Tranmere, Salford City. Obviously, there missed out on the playoffs. There's some big football clubs. Like, I know Salford City are not one of like a traditionally big football club, but let's make no mistake, where you've got Peter Lim involved and Neville and all them. They're a big football club.
And listen, there's loads sign because you look at Coventry City. Coventry City a couple of years ago were in League Two, and look where they are now. They're in the Championship and they survived this year. So everything's possible. I know Coventry are a big club. Well, they used to be a big club, and now they're back being a big club. So they're alive. Look at next season. We've got Hull City back in the Championship. We've got Peterborough back in the Championship, and we'll be talking about those two next season on a regular basis. And hopefully we're talking about those two teams doing a great job and being sustainable in that league because everybody deserves an opportunity to play. For Hull to be back in the Championship is great, but for Peterborough, it's amazing.
Yes, Peterborough it's a big thing, mate. Just on Salford City quickly, mate, just to show the kind of levels that they're on. They released a load of players this week. Among the people they released on a free, like don't want them. Yeah. Darren Gibson, ex-Man United, Everton, still relatively playing player age. George Boyd. He's been a very good Championship League One player.
Premier League player.
Yeah, ex-Peterborough. Yeah. James Wilson, ex-Man United. Sam Fielding. Like, these are big players. Will Shepherd. Like, these are all proven, almost Championship players, League One players, and they've just released them because, for whatever, varying reasons. That shows the kind of levels that they view their squad and how they're dealing with it. So for Newport County to get in the playoffs ahead of them, I think was a fantastic achievement. I would love to see Newport County in the Championship playing against Cardiff City and Swansea City, and I think that would be phenomenal.
Totally agree.
Although I don't know, after watching some of the videos on social media last night, mate, don't know if Swansea can be trusted to have their fans back in the stadium. But, that's just me. Maybe I'm being unfair. On Swansea, by the way, big best of luck to friend of the channel, and he did some predictions for us last season for the derby. Brett Johns makes his Bellator debut tonight. You can watch it on the BBC iPlayer actually. 10:30 he's on if you want to have a watch. But best of luck for him representing the Welsh people on the biggest stage. So good luck to him. So let's see, any more questions? And if there's not, mate, I'm going to wrap us up. 5 to 8, just like I said. Beautifully done. Okay. Okay. So, I want to say thank you again to everyone who has left comments, has messaged me and stuff, and just to see if I'm alright and wish me well. I really appreciate that because it has been a difficult week, and I'm still not back 100%, but I'm getting there. Still a bit all over the shop, but there we go. I'm glad to be back. This makes me feel better doing the shows. Monday was torture, even though Andy did a phenomenal job. It was torture when obviously we have a chat before the show, and I was like, yeah, okay, right, everything's set up. Hi Clark, how are you, mate? Yeah, great, bye. It was torture, mate, that was, because I'd been looking forward to Clark for, we knew weeks ago he was coming on, and I was really looking forward to doing that show. So for it to fall on that week was incredibly disappointing on a personal note, but I was very proud of the job you did, because I also know how the only other time you've had to do like the intro and the start of the show, and you didn't even do the whole show, was when we had Jim Platt on, wasn't it? And he was struggling a bit with the technology, so I had to dip out and you had to start the show, and you did not like it at all, did you?
No. It's just, I think it's things that you get used to, you know what I mean? I know people probably don't understand what goes on, you know what I mean? And I've just done an interview from my mate's radio station about preparing for a show. What goes into preparing for a night, as in the research, the games that we watch, the information that we read, you know what I mean? The notes that we write down to go for the championship show. And that's not... listen, I would never go to a Monday guest and be respectful towards them, you know what I mean? So when it comes to Willie, yes, I know him inside out, but I'll still have enough notes that I did for Clark than I do for Willie, because I don't want him to feel uncomfortable that I don't mention something or give some wrong information to you guys, to him, to everybody, to me and you, that we don't do things right on here. We is turned over to make sure that it's done right, and it's the preparation, and then to have to do it on your own after preparing, it was just hard work. And I think on Monday night I was exhausted, because it was like a relief that it was done. Mentally
which takes great, you, doesn't it?
Really hard, really hard.
It's different, mate, because you're like, so like I guide the shows that in terms of like moving on, closing and stuff like that. Whereas then, so like I'll throw to you or whatever and say, what do you think about this? So when you're then in the different seat and you've got to kind of do that, it's just different. Not saying that like I do a great job of it. I don't think I do particularly sometimes, but it's just a different feel to what you're doing because your job is different, isn't it? Like if I go on someone else's podcast, my job is different. I wait and they throw to, or they'll ask me my opinion, or they'll ask me a question. It's just a very different feel. But yeah, keep an eye out tomorrow afternoon, guys. I will put a post up one way or the other, but hopefully we'll have a live My Story Sunday with a special guest. But we'll see if that pans out because we need to confirm it up first. But we will definitely be back on Monday, 7:30, with the legend that is Willie Boland. Cannot wait. Andy Campbell, as ever, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, great to have you back, Si. Looking forward to Monday. Thanks for everyone's questions tonight, everyone's support. Keep sharing, keep writing your comments on social media. Get as much because it's amazing, and with some amazing guests coming up and some amazing plans for the summer as well. So yeah, watch this space.
Yeah, some big plans. Got some good plans which are not going to be popular with my wife. See you soon.
My mummy and daddy have been talking about life insurance. It sounds like something to protect my brother and me, but I don't really understand. Then my auntie Louise told mummy about Bespoke Financial Teesside. She said they're a local company who helped her with her life insurance. Mummy got in touch, and because they're based locally, a man called Darren was able to come to our house. He was really friendly. Darren stayed for a cup of tea and made it all really easy to understand. He said that life insurance will protect our home and family if anything bad were to happen. Like if mummy or daddy got sick, then we'd get enough money to take care of us, and our house would be paid for so we wouldn't get taken away. After an hour, Darren said goodbye and mummy and daddy seemed a lot happier. Once it was all sorted, we could all relax and watch a film together as a family. I don't know why they didn't do it sooner.
I belong to you.
I belong to you.
Do just what you want.